when Bonanno Crime Family mobster Sonny Red Indelicato was a captain, which made men were in his crew? Let's check it out. I'm James Gladwish and welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we are going to take a quick look at a few of the mobsters who were in the crew of Bonanno Crime Family captain Alphonse Sonny Red Indelicato. Sonny Red Indelicato was a mobster made famous in the classic mafia movie Donnie Brasco. In 1981, he was one of the men alongside fellow captains Dominick Big Trinchera and Phil Lucky Giaccone, who rebelled against imprisoned family boss Philip Rusty Rastelli. All three were gunned down in May that year in the infamous Three Captains hit. But in the late 1970s, which mobsters were in Sonny Red's crew? After the books for Mafia membership had reopened in January 1976, Sonny Red Indelicato was one of the mobsters inducted in the first wave of ceremonies for the Bonanno Crime Family. Within the space of a couple of years, Alphonse Sonny Red Indelicato was a captain in the Bonanno Crime Family. Through work carried out by myself, as well as some members of the excellent Black Hand Forum, who are far better researchers than myself, we are able to identify some of the made men who were in Sonny Red's crew. First up, we have William Cappy Caparelli. He was born in the 1930s, and in 1967, at the age of 32, he was indicted for murdering a bouncer after a brawl. As one newspaper reported, an Astoria man, described by police as a bookie, surrendered to a Queens detective yesterday, 6 months after he was indicted for the murder of a £300 bouncer in an Astoria bar brawl. The man, William Caparelli, 32, gave up to Detective Anthony Lombardino outside Astoria General Hospital shortly after noon. He was indicted June 22nd for the murder 4 days earlier of Stephen Setford, 28, of 516 47th Road, Long Island City. Setford, a bouncer in a Manhattan discotheque, allegedly slapped Dorothy Thorpe, 25, a barmaid at the Chez Beau Bar, 3607 21st Street, during an argument. Police said the woman made a phone call and 4 men, one of them Caparelli, showed up at the bar a short time later. They got into an argument with Setford and 6 shots were fired. 2 struck Setford in the chest. His body was later found in the street outside the bar. After the Mafia membership books had reopened, he was inducted into the Bonanno Crime Family in around March 1976, when he was 41 years old. In the late 1970s, it is believed that William Caparelli would serve in the crew of Alphonse Sonny Red Indelicato. When Sonny Red was murdered in 1981, Caparelli would avoid the Bonanno family's internal power struggle as, according to the excellent site LCN Bios, Caparelli was incarcerated, serving a sentence for narcotics. At some point after the famous Three Captains murders, William Cappy Caparelli would be moved to another crew, and by 1985 he was under Captain Frank Lino. In 1993, Caparelli pled guilty to grand larceny and extortion for shaking down contractors and forcing them to launder money for him. Interestingly, when trying to shake down the contractors, he had to convince them that he was in the Mafia, even making them watch the movie Honor Thy Father, a made-for-TV film about the Bonanno Crime Family. As one newspaper reported, a reputed Bonanno Crime Family soldier was having a little trouble convincing his shakedown victims that his mob ties were for real. So he handed them a videotape of the TV movie Honor Thy Father and said if they watched it, they would understand. I'm in it, the reputed mobster William Caparelli allegedly told general contractors Sean and Peter McCormack, a London-based father and son team who had signed on for their first New York project, the $20 million renovation of the Tudor Hotel in 1989. According to court papers, Caparelli introduced the Irish-born McCormacks to the New York art of labour racketeering by telling them that the only way to ensure labour peace on their job site was to make regular payments to him. The McCormacks were aware that the violent labour unrest had closed down the previous general contractor on the Tudor, but they had had no trouble themselves. That's when Caparelli produced the video, telling the contractors that he was in the movie and that it depicted his family. In 2004, it was revealed that at some point a hit had been ordered on Caparelli for extorting a relative of Bobby Lino Sr. However, Captain Frank Lino interceded and got the hit called off. As one newspaper reported, there were the odd times when Lino tried to play the mafia version of pacifist. Bobby Lino Sr. once really wanted to kill an associate, William Cappy Caparelli, for allegedly extorting a Lino relative. He even got permission from the bosses to carry out the hit. But Frank Lino put a stop to killing Caparelli, saying that it was not right to kill a person over such an argument. William Cappy Caparelli would die of natural causes in around 2012. Another member of Sonny Red's crew in the late 1970s was Joseph Joe Beans Campanella. Joe Beans Campanella came from a mafia family. His father, Johnny Beans Campanella, was a soldier in the Genovese crime family, who was in the crew of powerful Genovese captain Peter DeFeo. And Joe Beans' brother, John Beansy Campanella Jr., was listed in 1979 as a Genovese crime family associate, also linked with Peter DeFeo's crew. Some sources state that John Campanella Jr. would also become a made man in the Genovese crime family. Joseph Joe Beans Campanella was born in 1938 and would be inducted into the Bonanno Crime Family in the late 1970s at the age of 40. He would pass away in 2007. Another member of Sonny Red Indelicato's crew in the late 1970s was Russell Mauro. He was inducted into the Bonanno Crime Family in around 1978, at the age of 40. He is most famous for being part of the hit team that killed the greatly feared Carmine Galante in 1979, with many reports stating that it was Russell Mauro who personally fired the fatal shots into Galante, as I've covered in a previous video. Following the murder of his captain Sonny Red in 1981, Russell Mauro would report to Captain Frank Lino. He would later move to Salvatore Vitale's crew. Some reports also have Russell Mauro later as an acting captain himself. In 1991, Russell Mauro was murdered at the Black Eagle Social Club. Some sources state that Mauro was killed because Joe Massino would view him as a threat. Although later, when Bonanno family boss Joe Massino became an informant, he would state that Mauro was probably killed because of his drug use and wild behaviour, including shooting up a Gambino family bar. Dominick Big Trinchera also served as a soldier in Sonny Red's crew in the late 1970s, although some sources put him in Armand Polestrino's crew. Trinchera was inducted into the Bonanno Crime Family in 1977 at the age of 40. Trinchera was also part of the hit team on Carmine Galante in 1979. Trinchera handled crowd control during the hit, and shot and wounded the son of restaurant owner and mobster Joseph Turano, who went to warn his father and Galante about the gunman. In 1980, Sonny Red allegedly backed Dominick Trinchera to become captain of Armand Polestrino's crew, who had been stepped down from that position. Dominick Trinchera was also an early mentor of future Bonanno Crime Family acting boss Vincent Vinny Gorgeous Basciano. As mentioned earlier, Trinchera was murdered in the famous Three Captains hit in 1981. Sonny Red's brother, Joseph J.B. Indelicato, also served in Sonny Red's crew. J.B. Indelicato was a long-time soldier in the Bonanno Crime Family. He'd been inducted into that family in 1977 at the age of 46. By 2002, he was listed as a soldier in Richard Cantarella's crew, and later served as a soldier under Dominick Trinchera. Trinchera would state of J.B. Indelicato,
JB, we left alone. He had carte blanche. He could do whatever he wants on mobsters. Just leave him alone. He earned it.
Another mobster believed to have been in Sonny Red's crew in the late 1970s was Anthony Blackie Calabro. Calabro would allegedly be involved with the Indelicato brothers in the 1970 murder of Joseph Wagon Wheels Vescovi, a hit that also involved members of the Colombo crime family, including Joseph Yacovelli. Anthony Blackie Calabro was inducted into the Bonanno Crime Family in the spring of 1978 at the age of 50. He would pass away in 1977. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts on the topic covered in this video. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.